Is this better? Okay, you should be able to hear me now. Just confirm. I'm just going to type in the chat box. How about now? Okay. Sorry, guys. Just bear with me. If it's still a no, okay. I'll just change this. Okay. What about now? Is that any better? No sound. It's happening. Yay. Better. Okay. I'll make sure I speak up. Is that loud enough as well? Hello, Wendy. Thank you. Great. Okay, that's brilliant. All right. So, well, we'll get started then if everybody's ready to go. Today, I want to talk a little bit about some of the updates that have happened recently on LinkedIn and how you can leverage them in your business to grow your network and also to keep top of mind with your prospects, and how to position yourself as a leading expert in your industry. So during the webinar, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. I'm keeping an eye on all of those so we can actually cover those as we go, and we'll get straight stuck into it. So I believe that in particular, like companies that are in this is for a financial services company that I did a presentation to the other day, and this is really the only industry that doesn't deal with business to business, which we focus on LinkedIn. We find that it's not suitable to all platforms. Like Facebook is really targeted towards consumers. The only instance where we use LinkedIn for B2C or business to consumer type businesses is when we are targeting like business partners and affiliates and things like that, and business associates. I'm just seeing that Tanya said the sound comes and goes. Okay, well, look, we'll keep pressing on and let me know if the sound gets any worse. With LinkedIn, the biggest thing that I guess is important to bear in mind is that there's 7.5 million members in Australia alone and 380 million globally. Now, that means they've really got a corner on the market. They recently in the US had to pay a $14 million fine to the courts for growing their database via when you sign in, how you have to sync your email address. Well, that's how they grow the database. So basically, when you join LinkedIn, all of your friends get an invitation from you, and there's this herd mentality, and everybody follows each other. And now LinkedIn have got a database of over 380 million, and some changes are happening because they're no longer able to do things as well as they used to. The restrictions are getting more, and you're going to have to pay for more, basically. So essentially what happened is when they set up LinkedIn, and I've seen the business plan in 2004, they had what they call a freemium model. Now, a freemium model means you get a free account and you get encouraged to pay to upgrade. So it's not like Facebook where they make a lot of their money for advertising. Yes, there is advertising. However, it is more suited towards the big companies at this stage. LinkedIn's only really just reintroduced products for small businesses. Now, if you read LinkedIn terms and conditions, it says that sorry, I'm just saying someone's lost the screen. Okay, keep going. If you read the terms and conditions, then you'll see that you're not supposed to connect with people you don't know. However, LinkedIn have a product whereby you can connect with people you don't know. So it's kind of a catch-22 because they've built it for recruiters. So typically you'll see people uploading their CVs when what's actually happening is there's more entrepreneurs and salespeople on LinkedIn now than there are people looking for jobs and people who are recruiting. So the model's going to change somewhat. And one of the things we've noticed recently is they've restricted the number of searches that you can do on LinkedIn in a given day before upgrading, right? So that's just one example of many which are going to basically encourage people to upgrade. Okay, so 1 in 3 professionals on the planet is on LinkedIn, and in Australia, it's more like 95%. So any market you're in, if you can find a key decision maker in a certain business, you can reach them here on LinkedIn. And I'm going to show you some of the things that we can do that. This is what's on LinkedIn's homepage. Cold calling is dead thanks to LinkedIn. What I'm thinking is, as these things change, it's going to be harder and harder for us to grow our networks on LinkedIn. So what I mean by that is, at the moment, could you or could you not go out and connect with 100 people today who are in your target market? And let's use an example. Let's say you're a marketing agency and you specialize in dealing with real estate agencies. You could go and connect with 100 directors of small real estate agencies within a certain postcode. And I don't think it's going to be as easy to do that, say, in a year's time. So the opportunity is for those of us that are a bit ahead of the game to go and build our connections so that we have these listed prospects that we can deal with for the rest of our careers. Oh, sorry. So this is Seth Godin, the founder of Squidoo.com. Selling to people who actually want to hear from you is more effective than interrupting strangers that don't. Now, the reason I bring this up is because a lot of people have this illusion that if they have a massive database and they email that database, that they're going to be successful. And I'll tell you right now that LinkedIn has the largest database in the world, and a lot of people don't use it effectively. It's all there. So you can access it very easily. But what's the key? The key is to have a very targeted segment of that market and to market to it. So in 10 years ago, if you were a vegan body trainer, bodybuilding trainer, I should say, in Tasmania, then you'd probably find it quite difficult to get clients, and you'd have to innovate and start offering, bodybuilding training to people maybe that weren't vegans or whatever, or maybe you've moved to a big city. Whereas these days, that's exactly the sort of business that would do really well, because you can segment a market so easily and be quite specialized and become the industry leader. And these people that are following you, then all of a sudden they want to hear from you, and you're actually, if you're not posting content, then you're actually doing them a disservice. So I'd encourage you to, if you haven't got a very specific target market, to get one, especially if you're in business to business. There's a lot of financial advisors we work with that kind of tend to bolt on extra services to increase the average value of customers. When we do the marketing for them on LinkedIn, if I said to a financial advisor, well, why don't you become this specialist in dentists? You're a financial advisor specifically for dentists. That's the area you specialize in. Then all of a sudden he builds his network with all these dentists. And when you go to connect with another one, you can see that there's 100 in common. Maybe he's heard of you before through one of his mates. And because you've got the dentist reference all over your LinkedIn profile, you become the specialist in that area. Now, you tell me, do you think somebody's going to deal with this particular financial advisor or one that caters for everyone and his dog? The answer is quite straightforward. So all of a sudden you start to get a lot more conversions. Okay, so the reason I put this quote up, Richard Branson's one of my personal mentors, he's an idol of mine. And the opportunity that exists on LinkedIn is one of those ones where quite a few people are going to catch onto it and build their network, and they're going to have very successful careers off the back of that network. But the majority of people won't, and that's just the nature of the way that marketing evolves. Is when SEO was very easy to manipulate the search engines, a few people made a lot of money out of it, and the ones that stepped back and watched, whether at the time they got involved, it was too expensive, too competitive. They started doing changes. Same with Google AdWords. These days, social media is really leading online marketing. If you're talking about search engine optimization, it really is a lot of it to do with social media these days. I think that Google's somewhat becoming a search engine for social media websites. So if you are like a new business or a small business and you want to get some traffic, the quickest way to get to the top of Google is not necessarily by building a brand new website. It's actually by optimizing your social media pages. Another example is, if you're doing reputation management, I know some people have things that come out in the press about their company and that they don't necessarily want everyone seeing when they get searched for. And the easiest way to bump that down to the second page of Google is by having, lots of social media sites and PR stuff that's out there on sites that already have credibility. So just keep in mind why people are on LinkedIn, to stay connected, stay informed, and to build a career. Yes. But there's also these businesses which are looking to hire, market, and sell. So which one are you? Most of you, I would imagine, are more towards the sales side. Sales and marketing. The recruitment aspects of LinkedIn are very similar. What's effective in sales is effective in recruitment. However, you do need a much higher volume. Okay, so this is the stat. 75% of B2B buyers use social media to make purchasing decisions. The average number of key influencers in a B2B purchase is actually more than this now. It's closer to 10. So there's a massive trend towards more people being involved in a decision. So when we mapped out who your target market is, we actually need to map out who influences those particular individuals. So it's not enough just to say, okay, well, the marketing manager makes the decisions at Westpac, for example. Well, okay, but who influences the marketing manager? So it could be that there's an HR director. It could be that there's a CEO, and in which case, what you should be doing, especially on LinkedIn, is building networks with all those people. And you need to work out whether you want to go from the top down or the down up, because the way people are going to connect with you when they make a decision whether or not they will is by looking at who you've got in common as mutual connections. B2B buyers are 5 times more likely to engage with a sales professional via warm introduction and cold outreach. Okay, now there is a big illusion that LinkedIn lead generation is cold outreach. It's cold calling. But if you think about it, when if you're going back to the example of the dentist who's the financial advisor who specializes in dealing with dentists, when he reaches out to somebody that's connected with 60 of his connections, is that really a cold outreach? I'd argue it's more of a warm introduction. It all depends on the way he words as a connection request. And what not to do is to send the standard connection request that everyone sends, because you automatically put yourself in the same boat as all of those people going click, 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 connect with anyone, and you don't stand out. So the way to do that is to show interest in the other person and say, well, look, I've looked at your LinkedIn profile, I see that you're a dentist, and that's an area which we specialize in, and I'd love to have you join my network on LinkedIn. Regards, whoever. So essentially, all you're doing is making it personalized so that the person on the other end knows that you've done it just for them. So if you have the workbook in front of you, that's great. If you don't, grab a pen and paper, and I want you to jot down a couple of things for me. First of all, your objective. So an example of what your objective could be to generate partners, and you need to put a number on it. So let's say you wanted to generate 10 partners in 3 months. Could be that you want to get more customers, in which case, how many customers do you want, and how many appointments would you need to get those customers? And what is your point of difference? What is it that makes you stand out? And I want you to just pick one thing. So the unique selling proposition is something like you always get back to your customers within 24 hours, or you have a guarantee that if they don't not satisfied within 30 days, then you give them the money back. Whatever it is, point of difference, quality is a good one. Success measures, and then how are you going to measure success? Now, the biggest mistake that people make on social media is talking about social media marketing companies now, to be honest, they measure the wrong things. Now, they measure things like likes and comments. Now, if we all just focused on getting more likes and more comments, we'd be marketing to a lot of people that have a lot of time on their hands. So I'll give you a example. Some of the people that make the most money off of LinkedIn, you won't see them posting anything, because a lot of it's going behind the scenes. So it's like direct response marketing, we call it. So essentially what you're doing is private messages to individuals. Yes, it's great to post articles that are engaging your market, but if that market's not segmented tightly enough and they're not actually wanting to hear from you, then it's pretty pointless. We all know how easy it is to get likes if you target markets that are not as don't have such high commercial intent, put it that way. So measure return on investment. I think 9 times out of 10 of salespeople, it's return on investment. And so we know that if we do so many calls, we get so many appointments, and then we close so much business. And it's important to make sure you measure it and so you can improve. Okay, now before you start doing any lead generation on LinkedIn, the first thing that you must always do is optimize your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so once you optimize your LinkedIn profile, you're going to have something that ranks well on Google, but also on LinkedIn. People are using LinkedIn to search for what you do, and you're also going to stand out from the crowd. And then the other third thing is it's going to convert visitors to leads, because there's no point having all these visitors if it doesn't convert into inquiries. So this just is a graph that shows you as an example what the difference it can make. So within a week, this particular lady, Lily Monroe, has gone from having no views to 91 in a day, and she got 232 views for the week. Now, if you optimized a website, there's no chance that you could get that many views within a week. And a lot of it is coming from Google, a lot of it's coming from LinkedIn. Sure, we've had a bit of activity happening on a profile, but these are the sort of results that you can expect. And this is another chap, similar sort of graph here. Okay, so this is what a LinkedIn optimized profile looks like. It's one of our clients, Ashwin, and you can. I just wanted to show you really just a couple of quick things that you can take away with you. So the headline, first of all, so we see below his name there. He's got, yes, his title, principal and owner, tax and super direct. Now that's where most people would leave it. What we've actually done is put in some keywords as well. So you can see that we've got the diamonds there. And then we've got more keywords as well. Is anybody else having some trouble with the visuals? Just had a couple of messages come in about the visuals, that's all. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. So the headline is where you put in keywords, and it seems to have the biggest impact. So if you put in keywords in the headline and you also put them in the title of your job, in the experience section, that should be enough to get you ranking really well. Okay, we're getting a bit of a mixed result, mixed feedback on whether or not the slides are fuzzy and blurry. Okay, all right. Let's see if I can. Visuals are fuzzy. Okay, is it better like that or not really? Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep pressing on. It seems to be a little bit blurred. Let me look if I can just change the slides are fuzzy. No. So just bear with me, guys. I'm just going to see if I can fix this by showing it on this screen. I hope that's a little bit better because we must press on. Let's have a look where we were up to. Okay, so we were on the headline here. I'll keep pressing through, and I'll send everyone the slides afterwards, just so to make sure that we don't keep you too long. I want to wrap this up by about 40 minutes past, if possible. Okay, so the next bit is where you rank among your connections. Now, yes, you do want to get visibility, but this number is typically not a good, an accurate representation of how well you're doing. Because if you have a crap network and you rank #1, then it doesn't necessarily mean anything. You want to have a good network, which means lots of people who are getting visibility before you. Okay, so the next bit I want to cover is your summary. So the summary is what people will read first. It's a bit at the start. And Simon Sinek said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And I believe that in order to separate yourself from the crowd, you need to identify what it is that you're uniquely good at, what makes you different, and identify that straight away in your LinkedIn summary. It's very important. This will make the difference between whether your profile converts or not. So what I mean by that is, what's your passion? Why do you do what you do? What makes you happy? Where's the human being behind your service? And if you can identify that, people will engage with you right away. The next thing is identify the problem, the frustration that you solve. People identify with problems a lot easier than they do with solutions. So let's say, for example, you're in online marketing and you say, we find that most business owners find that traditional marketing methods are no longer effective, and therefore we specialize in social media or whatever it may be. I'm passionate about seeing customers, businesses, turn around and sort of seeing the results that they achieve, and helping them on their path to success, something like that. Something that you really need to be thinking about outside of LinkedIn in any event. You can see here that the connections is quite important, because when you do a search on LinkedIn, the first thing you see are always going to be your first connections. Now, if you want to get more visibility, what's the easiest way to do that? Well, the answer is to get more connections. So always make sure that you're growing your connections. And then what will happen is when you get up to a certain number, like over 1,000, say, for example, it'll start to grow organically. And then complete your contact information. It's important that you do have your postcodes in there, so that people, when they're searching for location-specific search terms, you do show up. So what I mean by that is, if I'm searching for, let's say, a accountant in Melbourne, I might type in accountant, and then I may type in the postcode 3000. And if he's using his details there, that means he's actually not going to show up in the search results. So they could be missing out on a lead there. Make sure you include websites. Again, you'll get the slides of these guys, so don't stress too much if you're not catching all of this that's written here. The websites, you can put in keywords there as well. So it will ask you whether it's a company website, a blog, or personal website. And below that, there's an option called Other, and you just basically type in some keywords there. So you'll see I've got my websites, the links say social media agency, LinkedIn lead generation, LinkedIn training course. So just got some keywords in there which help with optimization, make sure that my website's ranking well on Google and my LinkedIn profile is as well. And below that, register your LinkedIn web address. So you can create your own custom public profile URL to your name with no spaces. For example, linkedin.com/in/Nathaniel Bibby as an example. So if your name's not available, just add a number at the end. But what that means is when somebody searches for your name, you'll show up towards the top of the search results, which is quite important. Okay, so the benefit of LinkedIn is not necessarily in the connections, because your network's your network, and at the end of the day, where the benefit is below the surface. So it's a bit like this iceberg, where it's a bit below the surface. It's most important, and that really represents your second connections, if you think about it. Because when you go to get referrals, typically, most people don't ask for referrals, but if they do, they generally say, oh, I'd like to grow my business. To their customers, they would say, do you have any people that you think would benefit from what we do? And the guy will generally stop and either mention somebody just for the sake of mentioning him, or not think about someone, or mention someone that he thinks would be suitable, but doesn't necessarily fit your profile of client. So what you can actually do, just as an example, is you could look at his LinkedIn profile, see who he's connected to, hand pick 5 of his connections, and say, I'd really appreciate it if you could make an introduction for me to these 5 people. And hey, you could even just write them a message on LinkedIn and say, we've got this mutual connection, and I'd like to have a discussion with you. Now, generally, when people say that they know someone that you know, they'll respond. So here's some points on the summary. So always write in first person. It's important that it comes across personalized. Gone are the days where we look more important or more special when we write in third person. People want to connect with people personally. You'll notice that even some of the most famous speakers and business professionals in the world will write in first person on things like their profile. Use relevant keywords, speak directly to your target market. This is all pretty basic stuff, and I'll send this out. I'm just conscious of time, so we'll keep pressing on. Okay, credibility is the next piece. So look, when you're filling your LinkedIn profile out, think of things which you could put in organizations, honors and awards and stuff like that. I really want you to be, I'm going to push forward this bit, but I just really want you to be focusing on social proof. So what I mean by that is like testimonials, recommendations, endorsements. Yes, we all know endorsements are a little bit unrealistic, not necessarily a true reflection of how good you are at what you do, but the way it works is it's a people reciprocate. So if you want more endorsements, you've got to endorse other people. And I encourage you all to move your endorsements box up the page so that it sits below your summary. And again, we'll be providing more information about that in the email that we send out after this. So reach the right people. Okay. So here is where we talk about social proof again. So the recommendations, I guess, if you look at it like an Urban Spoon and TripAdvisor, like you go to a restaurant these days and you look on Urban Spoon and you see all these people like commenting and giving it a rating out of 5 stars, and you generally use that to make decisions, and that's what's happening in the business world. So why would you look at a website that's all by the website owner, when you can look at a social media page, when you can actually have your clients and all that posting recommendations on there, and it's genuine. And the way to get recommendations is just simply to ask for them, guys. I mean, it's really straightforward. If you ask for a recommendation, generally people want to give you one, and you just have to help them through how to do it on LinkedIn, where to find the right button, all that kind of thing. And the way to do that is by sending them a video, 1-minute video that I've got for you guys, which essentially shows them where to find the recommendation button. But generally, like if you ask someone for a recommendation and they're quite busy, it's a good idea to offer to draft something up for them. And when you offer to draft something up for them, and they say, yeah, sure, go ahead, and you have to write a recommendation about yourself, just focus on one key aspect, because people aren't going to read more than 3 sentences generally. So you just want to focus on one key area. Okay, so credibility, this is the skills and expertise section. Make sure you arrange them in order. This is still pretty basic stuff. I want to make sure we get onto some of the lead generation stuff. Okay, so now lead generation. LinkedIn encourage you to sign up for Sales Navigator and pay for things called emails, which means you can message people that you don't know. Now, what I'm going to tell you now is that if you message someone you don't know and you paid for that message, that person knows that you paid for the message and they know that they don't know you. So the conversion rate is lower than 5%. Now, if you connect with somebody and then you send them a message, the conversion rate's between 10 to 35% in our experience. So why would you pay for an email, which is obviously a marketing message, to send to someone you don't know, when you can send them a connection request for free? And connection request is no obligation. It's just, hey, I notice what you do. I'd love to have you in my network. Could be some synergies, whatever. You can also do that through posting content and also inviting people via email. Now, when you get a new connection, a few things happen in the subconscious mind of your prospect. One of the things that happens is they basically given permission to you to be able to contact them in due course about business. Now, when somebody's in your network and they send you a message, you're more likely to respond, and especially if the message is not necessarily about you buying their product. So the best time to send a message is when they've just connected. So when you connect with somebody who's in your target market, then the next thing to do is to send them a message and say, thank you for connecting. I've had a look at your LinkedIn profile and I'm interested in finding out a little bit more about what it is that you do. There are some synergies between yourself and some of the clients we've worked with, and I think we could help you with whatever it is. And it'd be worthwhile having a chat. Now, I'll show you some of the messages that don't work. We all know how to build connections. I'm just going to press through to this, so give you some message scripts. So who's received messages like this? I mean, I'm sure we all have, like, hi Nathaniel, hope you're doing good. I'm I can't even pronounce that. Binuja, business analyst from White Light Technology Solutions. We are a certified digital marketing company providing end-to-end digital solutions. We have helped shape up the business for more than 10,000 clients. I've had a look at your website and found that you too provide the similar services. We have certain more digital, and it goes on and on and on to talk about themselves. So look, what he's done wrong, other than the English being not very good, is they've made some assumptions that I'm actually interested in what they have to say and are interested in their brand. And most people are not interested in anything other than what they know and what they already know they want to know. So don't make assumptions that people necessarily need what you have at the time. And so it needs to be a little bit more succinct than that. This is actually not bad. This one says, hi Nathaniel, just a quick one to say thanks for accepting my invitation. The idea is that now we're connected, hopefully we can find time for a face-to-face to see if my product might be of value to your clients. I'd really appreciate that opportunity. So again, this is somebody that I don't know, why would I take time out of my day to see if his product is suitable to my clients? I mean, there obviously could be some reasons for that, but he hasn't worded it the right way. What I would suggest he do differently is the idea is now we're connected, hopefully we can find time for a face-to-face just to see if maybe your product might be of value to my clients, because all of a sudden then I can see the benefit. And if we have that meeting and he says, well, the way I'd like it to work is, we market our product to your clients and vice versa, then that would be absolutely fine. But it would mean that he gets a meeting. This is one that we did for a client who was in desperate need for some leads immediately, and this works very well. Hi, John, I've had a look at your profile and interested in catching up. We're seeking somebody in the building industry who's serious about their growth objectives, and it seems like there could be an ideal fit. How are you placed for a telephone chat Thursday morning at 10 a.m.? And so that essentially could be replicated, aside from the time of day, obviously, and the first name for, say 10 or 20 prospects or 100 prospects if you want. So that's a very good way to get some leads without assuming that they're ready to make a decision today. And what you'll find is if you do send 10 of these messages out, about half of them are able and ready to commit today, and half of them would have to you'd have to re-engage with in a few months. Okay, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Very famous saying by Peter Drucker there. And Peter Drucker is all about measuring return on investment. And this is something that I haven't seen many of my students over the years actually implement. And it's something that we do religiously in-house. And I think that that's one of the reasons why a lot of people will learn everything about LinkedIn lead generation and not actually do it themselves. They like source it to a company like us so that we can actually measure the results. So what I mean by that is, how many people are you connecting with? How many people are you messaging? And what's the response rate like? How many appointments are you getting, or how many sales are you getting? Or both, really. And that should be measured on a monthly basis. And it should be the same every month so that you can actually improve the results, because you'd be amazed what just a small shift in some of the wording in a message could make to your campaign. Okay, so this is some of the results that a adult learning company had. Now, these guys train businesses on various aspects of project management and things like that, and they target HR professionals. Now, within a month, they got 122 leads. These are the 3 different markets that they went after. So an HR manager in hospitality and healthcare, HR manager in food production, and also in not-for-profits. And you can see the numbers there. If we just take a look at, say, the not-for-profits, for example, 74 connection requests. And out of those 74 that were requested, 30 people said yes within the 30-day period. And those 30 people were then sent a message that said, thank you for connecting. I've had a look at what you do, and I can see some synergies with some of the clients we like to work with, et cetera, something along those lines. Short message, personalized, and out of that, they got 12 responses. So we all of a sudden know that we're getting a 40% conversion rate from request to connection accept, and a 40% response rate from sending a message to getting a lead, which is exceptional. I mean, those sort of numbers that just don't exist in things like email marketing or cold calling. I think it's about 1%. So it's the most effective form of lead generation in business to business, without question. Okay, so going back to your workbook, or just a piece of paper if you don't have the workbook, I would like you to write down how many people you will target in the next month, what you will send them as a message, and what the connection request will say. The connection request is pretty straightforward. You just have to do something a little bit different than what most people do. But the message is something that I encourage you all to have a think about and draft up after the webinar. But certainly how many people you're going to target, and what your target response rate would be. And look, to be conservative, if you're getting a 10% or 15% response rate, so if you message 100 people and you get 10 or 15 back, then you're doing pretty good. Like, that's not bad. You can build a business off the back of that. It depends on the product and how well you target them. Okay, just a little bit of information about how we can help you. Bibby Consulting Group, we're the first LinkedIn specialists in the country. My background personally is in digital marketing. I've been in the business for 13 years throughout Asia and Australia. Was a founding trainer at some of the digital institutes here and registered training organizations. And the reason I'm specialized in LinkedIn is because I've used it to grow other businesses, online marketing companies, and there's no one else really was making use of it for other business professionals. So rather than, one thing we do is training, obviously, but rather than allowing room for error and taking a lot of business owners' time, what we've done is made outsourced lead generation possible, and we've removed all of the risks and hiccups so that we can guarantee a number of leads for our clients. A lot of clients will be getting a fixed number of leads a month, 20 minimum, and then quite often it'll be over and above that. So all of a sudden you can work out what your cost per lead is, put a price on your marketing, cost of sale, all that kind of stuff. Worked with over 3,000, probably more like 4,000 businesses now. So what that means is we just have a lot of experience across a lot of different industries, which means that if the campaign's not going to work, I'll tell you that up front. If I think that it may not work, I'll tell you that up front as well. But most industries, we can tell you right away, whether or not LinkedIn is right for your business. And we have a partnership with one of the US-based companies, which just means that we get access to a lot of the latest technologies and intel that may not be otherwise available. Okay, these are some of the clients we like to work with. Now, I share this with you because there is quite a broad range of different businesses that are suited to lead generation on LinkedIn, and you can't really work out whether or not it is right for you until you decide on who your target is and get your strategy. Okay, so there's everything there from financial advisors. You can see Diabetes Australia, not-for-profits, forex trading, somebody who sells recyclable bins. So it's quite a different range. Solar panels, of course. Just decide on whether or not it's the right channel for your business, and don't necessarily exclude other marketing avenues. It all comes back to strategy, which is I'm more than happy to help you with. So what we've got is a bit of an offer today. Rather than me selling a product, I'm just offered to give a one-on-one phone call, which would be a bit like a diagnostic for your business. And the way that works is I'll give you this link. Just bear with me a second. Okay. So sorry about the the never-ending slides that are showing up there. That's just because I've changed my screen. Just bear with me a second. Let me move this. That's better. Okay. Now, where's this offer? Okay. Can everybody see that in the offer section there? About to book in a call with me. Okay. Okay. So let me bring the offer up. Okay, I'm going to copy the link in. Bear with me. Okay. We've got a few comments coming in, all sorts of different questions and so on. I think it's best if we touch base after the call. You should have that link come through now. If you don't, my email address is Nathaniel, Nathanial @Bibby Consulting Group. So that's Nathanial @BIBBY consultinggroup.com.au. So please do email me if you haven't got that link there to book you a call, and we can have a chat offline about your specific business and how we might be able to assist you with your lead generation. Thank you all for joining me this morning. I hope you all have a fantastic day and kick some goals on LinkedIn. Thank you very much.